the distinguished gathering here, the guests, teachers, students, parents and all those who have gathered here, and dear friends. I am very happy to be here this evening once again. I was here a few days back and once again I am here. It's always a pleasure to come to AMA and talk to the enlightened audience of AMA. The subject is very interesting and very important. Teacher as a torch bearer of change. Just now we had a very nice introduction from Mr. Joshi, who told for education for national building how our great patriots and educationists had done work. They did some work in the field of education which was congenial for national building. But at present, what is the present scenario of education? What is the role of teachers in national building? This is what we'll have to consider. Now the teacher word is the English word. The Sanskrit word for teacher is guru. And guru comes from two words, two letters, gu and ru. And gu indicates darkness and ru indicates that which removes darkness. So guru, etymological meaning of the word guru is one who removes darkness. So torch bearer is the exact equivalent of guru rather than a teacher. So teacher is a torch bearer, one who removes ignorance, one who takes the disciple from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge. Now this knowledge is of two types basically. Mundaka Upanishad says, Dve vidye veditavye, paracha aparacha. Two types of knowledge. One is apara vidya, second is para vidya. What is apara vidya? Whatever you know of is all apara vidya. Physics, chemistry, mathematics, geography, history, engineering, architecture, medical, everything is apara vidya. Even the knowledge of scriptures, even the Vedas themselves are apara vidya. Then what is para vidya? Para vidya means the knowledge which is knowledge of the self. Unfortunately, we know we have the knowledge of the whole world, but we don't have the knowledge about ourselves. Self-knowledge. The self, the supreme reality which is beyond time, space and causation, that knowledge is called Paravidya. In the olden times, both Paravidya and Aparavidya used to be given simultaneously in all our educational institutions, that is called Gurukuls. But afterwards, now what we find is, in our schools and colleges and educational institutions, only Aparavidya is given. The knowledge of the self is not given. The knowledge about how to go beyond time, space and causation. Or what Abraham Maslow says, self-transcendence, self-actualization and then self-transcendence. This is not being taught, unfortunately. But in our olden times it is. So in olden times, guru means one who gives both types of knowledge. Now of course the word guru has become a little cheaper. We say management guru and music guru and the judo karate guru. So many types of guru are there. But actually guru word is a very, very great word, denotes greatness. One who removes the darkness. One who removes ignorance, one who gives the knowledge of the self. That was called guru. Now, so if in that context, what are the type of teachers then? Number one, on the highest ladder we get, on the topmost crust of the ladder we get. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, who can be a guru? Satchidanand alone can become guru. God alone can become guru. God alone can give you self-knowledge. So, But God, how does He give knowledge? From within. But it is very difficult for a person to realize the self, and sometimes at the micro level and at the macro level also we find lot of developments take place, and sometimes demonical forces, they come into play, and that time it requires balancing of the forces between good and bad forces. So that time God Himself comes in the form of incarnation. He Himself comes down. So we have at the topmost are the incarnations of God, avataras: Sri Ramchandra, Sri Krishna, Christ, Buddha, Mahavir, and latest we find Sri Ramakrishna, our own times, who came with Ma Sharda Devi and Swami Vivekananda, when there was tremendous change in the whole world. Materialistic civilization was just going to demand the whole thing. At that time it was required that the balancing of the forces was required, and so came Sri Ramakrishna along with Swami Vivekananda, Ma Sharda Devi. In fact, yesterday only there was Holy Mother's Tithi Puja, birthday, we had grand celebrations. Again we are going to have for the whole year 150th birth anniversary celebration of Ma Sharda Devi. So 19, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, we have series of programs now. It was difficult for me to come, but I couldn't refuse the invitation of AMA, and it more so because I thought it's a good opportunity to have an interaction with the enlightened minds of Ahmedabad on such an important topic like education, and particularly teachers, because I go all over the country talking to the teachers and giving them a mantra. About that I will take a lot later on, what mantra I give. Everywhere, all the teachers, I give one mantra. So that's why I came here. First thing is incarnation. Second, we get the prophets and messengers. Prophet Muhammad, he came, Zarathustra came. These are all messengers of God, the second ladder. Third, we get saints and seers like Kabir. In the second sector we had Guru Nanak, Muhammad and Zarathustra. In the third we get saints and seers like Narsi Mehta, Mirabai, Kabir, etc. Still lower we get realized souls, human beings, but who have practiced spiritual truths and they have realized the truth. They become the gurus and they transform, they transfer the knowledge. So these are all spiritual teachers. These are all spiritual teachers. Then we have got teachers who are involved in giving secular knowledge. Mostly when we tell teachers, we mean those who are working in schools, or at the most professors in colleges, or at the most we call those who are working as teachers in the field of management, management gurus, such professionals, we call them teachers. Yes, they are of course the teachers. The other group that we told were spiritual teachers. These spiritual teachers of course bring about the change. They transform the whole thing. Sri Krishna himself says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujameham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuga yuge. Whenever virtue subsides and vice increase, to balance the force, I come myself incarnate. These are all incarnations. So of course they come. But what we are talking about, mostly I'll be talking about, I'll come to the first part, how Sri Ramakrishna in our own times transformed the whole scenario. If time permits, I'll go for that. But for the time being, I'll confine myself to those teachers whom we call generally the teachers who are working in schools and professors who are working in colleges. I'll leave, of course, those who are giving tuitions, private tuitions, those who are running non-formal schools, they're also teachers. And of course, all the parents are teachers. And the boss who is teaching his subordinate is also a teacher. So in one sense or the other, we are all teachers. But I will be confining myself to the teachers who are at present, whom we are denoting as teachers, who have been employed in schools or at the most colleges, professors. This group, can they be the torch bearer of change? So that is number one. This is what we have to consider. Now, what change we require? Is there a necessity of change? What is the present scenario? With the present system of education, what is the present scenario? All over the world, there is great lack of peace of mind. UNESCO is very much concerned about it, and that's why they had given the formula, they had given the mandate, education to be rather than given education to do, because lot of youths going for drug addiction, AIDS, suicides, no mental peace. So many books are coming out. You know, the name of the book in America which went for a great sale was by Derek Humphreys. The name of the book, The Final Exit. And the book was also not available. It was sold so much, it was also an exit. And what is written there? How to commit suicide. All the ways and means of being given. And the bestseller book in Japan, The Complete Manual on Committing Suicide, bestseller, 3.5 lakhs copies sold, and some people were found committing suicide with the book in their hand, and they had committed suicide in the manner in which it was told. There are so many ways and means of committing suicide given. The Complete Manual on Committing Suicide, selling like hotcake. Japan. France, bestseller book name is Suicide Users Manual. So everywhere, we thought that in India we have got poverty, we have a lot of problems, so people are suffering. Yes, but at least the rate of suicide is not so much as compared to the Western countries, the so-called developed countries. So far we were thinking H is directly proportional to M, where H is equal to happiness and M is equal to money. The more money, the more happiness. But the ratio is different. If you find there are 3 countries where the per capita income is highest: America, Japan and Sweden. And there are 3 countries having highest rate of suicide: America, Japan and Sweden. And 3 countries having maximum number of mental patients: America, Japan and Sweden. So what happens? H is inversely proportional to M. That doesn't mean that money is not needed. Yes, it is needed for economic regeneration is a must. But what we were thinking, H is directly proportional to M, is not true. So many youngsters are committing suicide. 54% of the youth in America, Japan and Sweden are not meeting natural death. The cause of that death is suicide. So UNESCO is concerned. Something wrong with our education system. So whole paradigm shift has to come. Otherwise we will have a paradigm paralysis. As Amsterdam-based management consultant M. Thiessen says, if we do not have a paradigm shift, if we do not have a holistic paradigm, if we do not have a paradigm shift, we will have paradigm paralysis. This is happening. So everywhere, lot of mental patients, mental hospitals opening on an emergency scale in Japan. The Minister of Health Japan brought out the figures a few years back. That is 44% of the Japanese executives of 42 years and above suffering from mental disorder. 100 mental hospitals open in an emergency scale. This is a scenario. Dr. R.D. Lang, a psychologist in UK, says an average young boy or a girl in England, in UK, has 10 times more chances of entering a mental hospital rather than entering a higher education school. 10 times more chances. This is the present scenario. It is in this context that we will have to think seriously what can be the role of teachers, what can be the role of education. So that is why a different system of education has to come. Spiritual culture has to be brought in. If spiritual culture doesn't come, Swami Vivekananda had prophesied, had given the warning, in 3 generations you will be extinct. To India he had told, and to America and other developed countries he had told, if you do not adopt spiritual culture, you are in for destruction. And this is what is happening. So there is an urgent need of introducing spiritual culture. A new civilization has to emerge where spiritual culture will be given due importance. Otherwise, violence, students taking the gun of the father and killing father. You find Columbia School, what happened in America? We know all of them. So 48% of the people in America are having guns now. Gun culture has come. So if we want to have world peace, if we want to have mental peace, we must have spiritual culture. Now Swami Vivekananda said, how this culture can come, how to save the world, how to have mental peace, how to have world peace. And Swami Vivekananda said, India has got that role of giving spiritual culture. Each and every country has got special role to play in the whole world phenomena. India has a special role to play, and that is for giving spiritual culture. It is in this context that we can appreciate what Swami Vivekananda had said. India shall conquer the whole world by spiritual power. Somebody asked, Swamiji, you are talking so much of patriotism, but you are a monk. You are above any nationality. Yes, he said, yes. For me, all nations are equal. I as much belong to the East as to the West. It's true. But then one thing is there. The world needs to be saved. And the world will not be saved unless and until India is saved. Because India has got a special role of spreading Indian culture. Great cultural Indian heritage we have got, which we will have to give to the whole world. Whole world is waiting for it. In fact, what Swami Vivekananda professes, you know, he was not an astrologer, but he was a visionary. And whatever he said has come true. In 1897, he had predicted that India shall become independent within 50 years, but under extraordinary circumstances without fighting a war. At that time, Gandhiji had not returned from South Africa. It actually happened 1947, exactly after 50 years we got independence. There are so many other things that came true. In 1893, at Professor John Henry Wright's place, suddenly he had told, after Britishers leave India, there is a great danger that China may attack India. Nobody even imagined or dreamt that Britishers will leave India. Nobody ever imagined China will attack, but it did happen in 1962. So whatever Swamiji had told, he also predicted that the first proletariat movement will come from Russia. Karl Marx himself had predicted that the first movement will come from Germany, because there was some organized labor there. In Russia there was no organized labor, it was all peasants. But still, the first proletariat movement came from Russia. So whatever Swamiji had told has come true. One thing has yet to come true, and that is Swami Vivekananda had predicted in 1897 in his lecture at Chennai. India shall conquer the world by its spiritual power. That has yet to come true, but it is slowly coming up. 9th August, Time magazine, you find out how Americans are going mad after meditation. 10 million Americans are regularly having meditation. And before that, some time back, again, Americans going gaga over yoga. 92 out of 122 medical schools having regular courses on alternative medicine, including on meditation and yoga. So in a way, Indian spirituality, Indian culture heritage is now being adopted by other countries. It is being adopted. It has to be adopted if they have to save themselves from suicide, from drug addiction, from AIDS. That spiritual culture has to come. Now, if India has to take up the role of a world teacher to give that spirituality, one thing is coming on the way, and that is we are still a developing country and not a developed country. So the developed countries are telling, how can you become our teacher? You look after yourself first. First develop yourself. Yes, that is true. So that is why the urgent need is for national building. That's why the very beautiful subject that we have got, education for national building. So the urgent necessity is nation building. And how nation building can take place? Dr. Radhakrishnan says beautifully, you cannot make a nation or build a nation just by mortars and bricks. You have to shape the minds of the young people. It is by shaping the minds of the people that the national building will take place. And what Swami Vivekananda had said also the same thing, that national reconstruction or national building must be preceded by character building of the citizens. You cannot change, you cannot just change the scenario of the nation by any parliament laws. You may have new acts in the parliament, by that our nation will not be developed. Why? You ask Mukesh bhai. The day the new act passes, that very night they all sit down how to get relief from that. Some income tax, or from some tax, or from some law, or some advocates, they will sit down how to get relief from that. They will sit down. So only parliament acts are not going to mend the matters. We have forgotten that. Today, our crisis in the nation is crisis of character. On 16th April, I was with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam at Rashtrapati Bhavan. And I told him, Dr. Kalamji, if you bring the wealth of the whole World Bank, our poverty is not going to go. Because there is so much of corruption, money, whatever money you will put in the 5-year plans, they are not going to reach the masses. Still 25% people are below poverty line. Still about 35% are illiterate. There is a blot on our nation. It is not going to develop. I was in Bihar. Now I was in Ranchi. At the time it was Bihar. Now it is Chhattisgarh. So I have got first-hand experience. You know, we had to do water house project. Why? Because the government of Bihar, they requested us. In the beginning, we were not ready to undertake the project. But afterwards, since they told, okay, we took up. And then it was a very successful project. But why did you take up? Because the minister, he found out that so many wells have been excavated. But when he came for inspection, not to be seen. So he approached us. Swami, there is something wrong, please help me. Because under IRDP scheme, Integrated Rural Development Scheme, there is a scheme, there are tribals there. For tribals, 100% subsidy if you dig a well. 100% subsidy. 20,000 rupees you will get. So they will call a farmer in the government office. Do you want money? Who doesn't want money? Yes, I want money. How much I will to work? You don't have to work. Simply give your thumb impression here. Just a thumb impression, 3,000 rupees. Satyug aa gaya, Satyug aa gaya. Golden age has come. Just by giving a thumb, you are getting 3,000 rupees. What a nice government it is. They feel so happy. And what is written in the paper, he doesn't know. He is illiterate. I have already excavated the well and I am getting very good water. 3,000 rupees. So total 20,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees goes to the farmer is happy, 3,000 goes to the BDO, 3,000 goes to the officer, minister, all that, the whole thing is there. So all are happy. And the Bihar government is very happy. Highest number of wells dug in Bihar, which is a very backward state. And government of India is also happy in Delhi. My God, Bihar is improving like this, developing very fast. But then when the minister came, all wells in paper, not to be seen on the land. Then he came to us, Swamiji, this is a very sad affair. Then we had to take up a water harvesting project. Then he said, you give direct money because we are not going to the offices. We know. First of all, they say, Pehle lao, paisa lao. And Ramakrishna Mission doesn't believe in that. So, for which we had to work very hard, we had to undergo a lot of hardship, but we did say nothing doing. So they gave the check directly to us, and we said we didn't give any cash to the farmers. First dig the well, and then our trucks will go and give the materials, and then the 20,000 rupees worth well was constructed within 13,000 rupees. 7,000 rupees were deposited in their bank account, and there was joint account so that they cannot take up the money for drinking liquor. All these, and now they are progressing very fast. They are improving. all of them, many of the farmers. But anyway, what I was telling is that national reconstruction cannot take place without the character building. Unless until this corruption goes, national building will not take place. I gave a beautiful example when I was talking to 40,000 youths. We had a youth convention in Kolkata, Ravindra Sarovar Stadium. Kiran Bedi was with me, and I gave an example, story. There is a small boy, but very naughty boy, very difficult to control. So his father was very much perturbed. I have to do a lot of work today, and this fellow will not allow me to work. So he called the boy, come here. Now I am giving you some work. Go to the next room, finish the work, and then come. Don't come before finishing the work. Okay? Okay. Now he thought, what work I should give, so that whole day he keeps himself busy and I also can concentrate on my work. He took up the map of India, cut into small pieces, go. He thought he hasn't got the knowledge of geography, Kashmir, Kanyakumari, Assam, Gujarat, so many places. So he will not be able to do it. Whole day he will be busy, I will be also able to do my work. Sent him. But within 5 minutes, the boy came back. Hey, I told you, finish the work, then come. I have done the work. Just he was amazed. Whole map of India, exact map of India, everything in its own place. Kashmir, Kanyakumari, Assam, Gujarat, Ahmedabad, everything. How did he do it? Very simple. Huh? National integration is such a big problem. And you have solved it so quickly, you have united the whole country. How could you unite the whole country? Then the boy said, you see, Daddy, I was just trying to unite the whole thing. Then I thought it will not be possible for me because I don't have much knowledge of geography. So I started playing with the small pieces. While I was playing with the pieces, I found out there is a photograph of a human being on the back side. So I joined hands, feet, everything. The man was all right and the whole country became all right. Unite the man, the national integration takes place. So Swami Vivekananda said, first make the man all right, the country will be all right. National building must be preceded by character building. Unless until character building of the citizens, character building of the ministers, IAS officers, IPS officers, businessmen, teachers, students take place, till that time there is no hope of our country getting united, of our country getting rebuilt. It's not possible. Swami Vivekananda had told 100 years back, national reconstruction must be preceded by character building. And that's why Swami Vivekananda said, what we want is man-making education, character-building education. But unfortunately, after independence, in spite of so many beautiful reports of Kothari Commission, Dr. Radhakrishnan Commission report, Prakash Committee reports, so many beautiful reports, all put in under the cells, not implemented. And that's why what we have today is, I sometimes jokingly say, is demon making education. Rakshas Nirmankari Shiksha. Demon making education. They are very much amazed. Why do you call demon making education? Then I give the example. Bhartrihari, the great poet, says there are 4 types of people in the society. Niti Shatkam. Ete satpurushaha parartha ghataka swarthan parityajye samanyatu parartham udyam abrata swartha avirodhanaye temi manush rakshasa parahitam nignantiye ye nignanti nirarthakam parahitam teke na jani mahe. There are 4 types of people. Number 1, Satpurush. They are trying to do unselfish service. Even at the cost of their own self, they try to do good to others. Second, Samanya Manushya. First they try to do good to themselves and then they try to do good to others. Third, Manush Rakshasa. He says they are looking like human beings but they are Rakshasas. Manush Rakshasa, demons. Manush Rakshasa. What do? For their small self-interest, they can do any amount of harm to others. These are Manush Rakshasa. And where are they available? All around. You can see. An executive engineer, what does he do? He takes 10 lakhs of rupees from under the table, not from above the table, and tells the contractor, you can mix any amount of sand with cement, doesn't matter, while constructing the bridge, while constructing the dam, check dam. And then there is heavy rains, the check dam bursts, hundreds of people die, thousands become homeless, crores of rupees of loss to the nation, doesn't matter, I have got 10 lakhs rupees, my house has been built. दुनिया जाए भाड़ में, समाज जाए भाड़ में, देश जाए भाड़ में. Doctor, what does he do? First question is, I am telling you the real story. They went to, some of our devotees went to Bombay for some checkup. So the first question was, since how long you are suffering? What is the disease? What problem? Nothing. First question was, how much can you spend? Budget. According to the budget, they will tell you. And already the reports are ready. For the type of budget, reports are ready. And then, even if not needed, operation will be done. And then after if the operation is unsuccessful, you had come late, they can even kill others. There are such types of doctors available. There are such types of engineers available all around. You can see. They may be coming in safari suit. They may be coming in Banarsi sari. Very good dresses with good optics. 3.5 lakhs optics available in Delhi nowadays with golden frame. Yes, very nice looking. But demons. Manush Rakshasa. Third type. Fourth type. Bhartari says, third type, for their small self-interest, they can do any amount of harm to others. Fourth type, they don't get any benefit, but they enjoy. When somebody else suffers, they enjoy. They are happy at others' loss. There is some fire in the other house, very nice, very happy, they start clapping. But did you get any benefit? No, but I was very happy. His house is burning. This is fourth type. So Bhartari says, I can't give the name. First is Satpurush, second is Samanya Manush, third is Manush Rakshasa, fourth, Teke na jani mahe. I can't give the name. These are the four types of people about whom Bhartari is described in Niti Shatakam, and I have made a latest discovery, there is a fifth type also. Maybe they were not available Bhartari's time. Now I can't give the name of the fifth type, Teke na jani mahe. Fourth type, there is no name you can give. Now, fourth type are such, they don't get any benefit, but they enjoy at others' loss. But fifth type are such, they enjoy others' loss to such an extent, by harming themselves, they do harm to others. And so they sit down in the aeroplane and strike with the world towers. I will die, but I have killed 5,000, I am very happy. Let me die, but I will kill 5,000. These are the fifth type. Let my one eye go, but my neighbor should die. You know the story of the conch shell, how that neighbor was killed by a person because of jealousy. So these are the five types of people now residing. In society at present, we have got majority of third, fourth and fifth type. Second type, Samanya Manush, ordinary human being, who will try to do good to themselves and also try to good to others, enlighten self-interest. This is few. And Satpurush, you have to see with the microscope. Still far, far, far few. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, what is urgently required is man making education, not demon making education, character building education. This is the most important thing that is required. That is why, if we want to bring about a change, this change will have to bring about by changing the mind. Without changing the mind, you cannot change a nation, not by enactment of law. Now, if we want to impart this education of man-making education, who will do it? If we want to develop a character, Swami Vivekananda says character is nothing but bundle of habits. And how it comes? Samskaras, past impressions. How samskaras are built? Four factors play important part in developing one's samskaras. Number one, the samskaras that the person is inherited from the past birth. This is what our Vedanta says. Second, the samskaras are the impressions gathered from the parents through the genes and through contact and through teachings of the parents. Third, environment plays an important part. Fourth, most important part is teachers. And that is why teacher is a torch bearer of change. The only way we can change the nation, is by character building of the individuals, of the citizens. And this character building, if we require a strong building, we require a strong foundation. So if we require strong character of a personality, we require a strong foundation of that character. We had rehabilitation project, so we had to incur a lot of money extra. Why? Because we wanted earthquake resistant houses. So our engineer said, then we'll have to give very strong foundation. More of cement, more of iron. Okay, tie beams we gave. But if we want to have a strong building, we must have a strong foundation. If we want to have a strong character, we must have a strong foundation. And this foundation has to be laid not after the building is constructed, but before the building is constructed. I ask the youth, whenever I go all over the country, I talk to the youths and I ask them this question: do you all agree that strong buildings require strong foundation? Yes. Do you all agree that strong character will also require strong foundation? Yes. And this foundation has to be laid before the building or after the building is constructed? Before, they say. And so, similarly, the character building foundation has to be laid while you are a student in the young days. Afterwards also it is possible. It's not that it is not possible, but it becomes more difficult. It becomes more difficult. You have to give support from outside. Lot of money is wasted. And then you can strengthen the building. But then if the foundation is strong, it becomes very easy. So, and this foundation of this character building takes place in student days. And when we are talking about the students' character building, as I told you, 4 parameters, 4 factors play important part. The fourth most important factor is teachers. And hence, teacher is a torch bearer. That is why Swami Vivekananda said, man-making education, character building education will depend upon the type of teachers. And to the teachers he said, the formula that was given is be and make. First you yourself become great, then you make others great. That is why Dr. Kalam has said in his book, India 2020, you will find. For the teachers he says, you are most important factor in the development of the nation, because more than anybody else it is you who are shaping the future generation. Teachers are the change agents, most important changes, because more than anybody else it is you who are shaping the future generation. And so here comes the role of teacher as a torch bearer. And if we want change at the macro level, it has to be preceded by change at the micro level. If we want to save the nation, we must have a development character of the people. Otherwise, the nation cannot prosper. There was a Supreme Court case, and the Supreme Court Judge Hansaria gave a wording. Of course, that is at that time it was between CBSE. They were fighting for having whether Sanskrit should be subject or not. Whatever it is, ultimately it was decided that Sanskrit should continue. The Supreme Court gave the judgment. But while giving the judgment, gave an example how a professor is very important for a nation. Giving the example, there was a world war going between UK and Germany, and a professor of a Cambridge University was studying, engrossed deeply in studies, and then a soldier enters and he charges him. What? We are all fighting the war for the nation, and you are sitting here and studying. What are you doing? Then the professor very calmly asked, "You are fighting for the nation, that's great. Can you tell me what is meant by nation? Why? Nation means nation's geography, geographical boundaries, that is the nation. Anything else? Yes, nation means people, people of the nation. Anything else? Yes, nation means nation's culture. Well, I am protecting the national culture by studying here. What you are doing, you are defending the country at the war front. I am trying to defend the country's culture, spiritual culture, and the civilization. These are all parts of the... So there he gives the importance of a professor, and he says, if you want to change, if you want to have a change at the macro level, it has to be preceded by change at the micro level. That's why UNESCO preamble says, since wars begin in the minds of people, it is in the minds of the people that the defense measures must be constructed. Similarly, when we want to develop the nation, then it has to be preceded by the development of the minds of the citizens, particularly at student level. It is at this level, if we really want education for excellence, education for national building, for character building, because national building has to be preceded by character building. It is in this context that teacher's role becomes most important. I said 4 parameters: parents, environment, past birth samskaras, but most important parameter, and it is said that psychologists say between the age of 8 to 14, the role model of an average student is a teacher. First 8 years maybe father or mother, but then 8 to 14 years the teachers play important part. So that is why teacher is a torch bearer. I go all over the country talking to the teachers, and then I tell them, I'll give you a mantra. So they start noting down. I said, you need not note it down because it's very easy to remember. 10 times morning you have to repeat this mantra, and night also while going to bed you have to repeat this mantra. And what is the mantra? Mantra is only this: I am a teacher. That's all. Repeat 10 times, I am a teacher. But within bracket, bracket is very important. How great I am. Because I ask many teachers, what are you doing? I am a teacher. They will speak with such a face as if by compulsion they have become a teacher. Because I couldn't become IAS officer, I couldn't become IPS officer, and so at the last resort I had to become a teacher. So they say with great amount of cutting a sorry figure, I am a teacher. No. I am a teacher, I am a national builder, I am a torch bearer. How great I am and how responsible I am. This bracket is very important. Every teacher, I sincerely feel the highest and the greatest profession in the world is that of a teacher. Why? Because the future of the nation does not depend upon the type of prime minister, the type of chief ministers, the type of ministers, the type of IAS officers, the type of IPS officers. It doesn't depend upon them. It depends upon the teachers who are shaping the future prime ministers, the future chief ministers, the future ministers, the future IPS officers, the future IAS officers. They are all under him. So when I am talking to a teacher, I am talking to at least 1,000 future citizens of India. That's why I try to, even if I am very busy, I try to go to the teachers, because through one teacher I am communicating with at least 1,000 youths, 1,000 children, 1,000 students who are going to study under him. And that is why the teacher has just to remember this formula: I am a teacher, how great I am, and what a great responsibility I have. I will try to give an example of 2 or 3 teachers. What a teacher cannot do. A single ordinary teacher can bring about tremendous changes. It may not be perceptible, but tremendous changes, far-reaching changes. Sri Ramakrishna, as I told you, came in our own times. So he was living in Dakshineshwar. One day, one ordinary teacher went to him in Calcutta. He was having a lot of problems in his family. He was contemplating suicide. But accidentally he met Sri Ramakrishna. He got peace of mind. He was saved from suicide, started coming daily, regularly, and wrote down in his diary whatever Sri Ramakrishna said, conversations of Sri Ramakrishna with the devotees. When Swami Vivekananda later on discovered, he was very happy. He said, this is very important. You must print it. Booklet form. No, this is diary, this is my personal diary. No, you must print it for the benefit of mankind. Later on, this book was published in Bengali, Ramakrishna Kathamrita. Then it was translated into English, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna.